Life in prison with no possibility of parole. That's the sentence handed down today to Bryan Kohberger for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Good evening. I'm Preston Phillips.
And I'm Mary Nom. Today's sentencing gave the victims' families their first chance to directly address Kohberger in court, and many of them did not hold back. We have team coverage tonight, including Lynn Ann Wynn with reaction from Skagit County, where one of his victims lived, and Chris Daniels with a timeline of how this case played out.
But we start with KOMO's Michelle Esteban and the emotional testimony during today's sentencing. Michelle?
The families did really all they could to compel Bryan Kohberger to explain why he viciously attacked their loved ones. But the convicted killer sat silent and stone-faced, even after a barrage of anger and anguish and stories of love and pain from those families.
12 hours after this photo, 4 of 6 University of Idaho students would be senselessly slaughtered in their sleep, attacked in their beds in the middle of the night. For the first time, their families looked their loved one's killer in the eye and let loose.
You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you.
You're evil. There's no place for you in heaven. You took our children. You are gonna suffer, man.
Skagit County's Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan.
He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive?
Dylan Mortensen was inside that Moscow house of terror. She woke up and saw Bryan Kohberger. She and roommate Bethany Funk are the sole survivors. They, too, hoped for answers. But when given the opportunity to say something, Kohberger said, "I respectfully decline."
And we do have hope and some healing. But the vast emotional wound will never fully heal.
It was just the only great thing I ever really did, and the only thing I was really ever proud of.
If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your Thank you.
Thank you.
But Bryan, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you.
How could anyone ever be assured that what he speaks is the truth?
Judge Steven Hippler, choked up at times, said Kohberger is the worst of the worst, with no hint of remorse or redemption, let alone regret.
Evil does not deserve our time and attention. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives.
We did not hear from Ethan Chapin's family today in court. He's from Skagit County. They did not attend the hearing. We'll have more on that in just a minute. The lingering questions, of course, why he did it and why these 4 college students. Prosecutors have said there is no direct connection to the victims. We'll remind you, there is no legal authority to compel Kohberger to speak. Marion Preston.
Michelle, this is not the last word in the case. The judge said today, starting today, once the sentencing over, he's going to take a close look at all of the sealed documents in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a significant amount of sealed documents, and the judge is going to go through those. And I understand, as I mentioned, it's significant. But before that, we are combing right now through hundreds of police documents that were just released shortly after the sentencing. We posted a link to those on our website if you'd like to see those. We are learning more details about the gruesome attack on these young people. And I will say, Marion Preston, it is beyond tragic.
Yeah.
I'll send it back to you.
Well, even though Bryan Kohberger has been sentenced, he likely won't report to prison immediately. A spokesperson for the Idaho Department of Corrections tells People magazine that he'll likely undergo 2 weeks of evaluations. Once those are complete, Kohberger will be assigned to a detention facility. He'll likely end up at Idaho's only maximum security prison, located in the town of Kuna, south of Boise. Opened in 1989 to house the state's most violent criminals. It's unclear, though, if Kohberger will be housed with the general prison population or be confined to solitary confinement.
Following this morning's sentencing, members of the Moscow Police Department and the prosecution addressed reporters. Moscow's police chief said even though the case is over, the pain will never go away.
We acknowledge that for the families, friends, and loved ones of these 4 young people, the grief does not end because the losses are permanent and the pain remains.
The head of Idaho State Police thanked the victims' families, saying their strength and love for one another helped inspire and motivate investigators through the course of this case. And as Michelle mentioned, due to the significant public interest, the city of Moscow has set up a dedicated website featuring police reports from the Kohberger investigation. And that website went live this afternoon with free access to the information, some of which will be redacted. Last week, the court lifted the gag order that had been put in place early on in the investigation, preventing the release of any sealed documents. Those documents will eventually be released, but only after the judge reviews each one individually.
Kohberger's sentencing brings a close to a nearly 3-year-old case that took police and prosecutors months to put together. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels was in Moscow at the time of the investigation. Continues our team coverage tonight, live from Seattle. Chris?
Yeah, Preston, as you may recall, there were weeks of the unknown. Students were afraid to return to the University of Idaho campus, and parents were afraid for them to return as authorities try to piece the case together. It is a crime that shook the foundation of a town and anyone who lived near 1122 King Road.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
On the morning of November 13th, 2022, Moscow, Idaho, where there has not been a murder for years, wakes up to the news that 4 young University of Idaho students have been killed, and there are few answers.
Are you concerned that too much time has passed before you've made an arrest?
Absolutely not.
Idaho police shared very little, letting amateur sleuths to fuel theories and falsely accuse other students based on videos like the one showing Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez at a food truck in the hours before their deaths. There was finally a break 3 weeks later on December 7th with a bulletin about a white Hyundai. Police say they believe there was an occupant in it near the home. Surveillance video had captured images on that November night. Had somebody in it who holds the key to cracking this murder case, and allowed police to cross-reference owners of the model, like a guy named Bryan Kohberger.
Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could.
Who was driving across the country from Washington to Pennsylvania, and on December 30th of 2022 was arrested at his parents' home in the Poconos.
That he has actually already been indicted by a grand jury.
It was revealed.
And as a graduate student at Washington State University.
And before he appeared in court January 3rd of 2023, that he was living just a few miles from the crime scene. His DNA matched a knife sheath near the victims. His cell phone data also placed him near the home. Kohberger maintained his innocence as the case against him dragged on. The home was torn down almost a year to the day after his arrest. And while Kohberger pled guilty on July 2nd, the question was never answered about why the killer targeted those 4 students at 1122 King Road. The motive is something that people will be searching for in those court documents, given that Kohberger was not from Washington nor Idaho and had recently moved to that region to attend graduate school. I'm Chris Daniels, reporting live.
Chris, thank you. One person who has been following the Kohberger case very closely is Ann Emerson. She's the senior investigative reporter for Criminally Obsessed. Today on KOMO News at 4 o'clock, she told me she wasn't surprised by Kohberger's demeanor in court today.
He did not move. It was a stone-faced look. And we were all watching him to see if the defendant was going to show any kind of emotion. And at one point, the sister of one of the victims was really going straight for him, saying, I want answers to these questions. I want to know what happened to my sister, being very direct. And he did not flinch. There was never any change.
Emerson also said even if Kohberger had addressed the court today or decides to explain his actions in the future, it would be hard for anyone to take what he says seriously.
Noticeably absent from the courtroom today was the family of Ethan Chapin, but the community in Skagit County where he grew up is sharing their reactions to today's sentencing. KOMO's Lynn Wynn spoke with those who knew Chapin as they learned Kohberger's fate.
There's just nothing that could ever be done from this point forward that could ever for me, give me anything back from what was taken.
On the same day, Bryan Kohberger's criminal case comes to a close. A new memorial honoring Ethan Chapin went up at Tyler Amaya's gym. Amaya coached Chapin and his siblings starting in 4th grade.
I see Ethan in everybody and every kid that walks in this gym. And, you know, just wanted to give back and do something that was going to carry his name. You know, as long as I'm in this gym and in this community, we want to do things that keep his memory alive.
Though the sentence handed down will never replace the 4 lives lost, Ethan's spirit does live on in memories here and through Amaya's nonprofit, Hoop for the Valley. About $20,000 in donations from across the country in honor of Ethan helped provide open gym activities, scholarships, and free clinics to underserved kids in the community, getting kids into sports and being active just like Ethan. And the Ethan Smile Foundation, which the Chapin family started in 2023, has raised more than $100,000 and awarded more than 80 scholarships to local students, ensuring his legacy is remembered in the years to come.
Really, I want Ethan to be on the mind every time people come in this gym. You know, I think it's an unfortunate reminder that life is life, and we got to take every moment. You know, every moment's precious.
Reporting in Skagit County, Lynn Wynn, KOMO News.
The Chapin family is declining media interviews, but a representative from Ethan's Smile Foundation shared that the family chose to spend time together today instead of attending that sentencing.
Our complete coverage continues online. If you missed any of today's stories, want to learn more about the case, or want to see more of the victim impact statements today in court, that QR code will take you to the front page story on KOMOnews.com. That's where we've also posted all the newly released documents in this case. You'll also find a link to a YouTube documentary about the University of Idaho murders and the pursuit of justice against Bryan Kohberger.